Hey, you must really like it here in Cinema Cycle because you keep coming back. Maybe you should see a doctor. It's Monday, a very cold and blustery Monday outside. Not that cold, surprisingly, but it's supposed to get down to the 20s tomorrow with snow. Today is VHS, good old videotape day, something that most people don't watch anymore. Random Media Generator has given me a classic, a real classic. American Beauty. For those that have not seen this movie, shame on you. This is one of my top 10 movies. If I had a top 10 movie list of all time, up there with Lawrence of Arabia and some Fellini films, this would definitely be on it. There's probably a reason why it won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I've seen this movie at least 3 times. I'm going to see it again this morning while I cycle. Probably one of the greatest films I've ever seen because it just gels so well. The direction, the acting, the music, the cinematography, the story. It's just really a good film. I think it perfectly captures the American dream or nightmare, if you want to call it, in basically the early 2000s. This was America, I think, and it probably still is. So let's see how to grow really good roses in American Beauty. I've often said in a lot of these movies, one of the key things you have to have for a good movie is it has to be engaging. You have to identify with either the people in it or what's going on, which is why I love this so much. I obviously identify with the frustration of the modern suburban American family, but I really identify with Lester Burnham, which is Kevin Spacey's character here. Yeah, it's like I am Lester Burnham. I think a lot of men are, but the thing that strikes me so much about this film, because I've seen it so many times, I can just pick it apart because I like it so much. I'm obviously biased. It's the music. It's the music by Thomas Newman does the soundtrack to this, and this movie wouldn't be anything without that soundtrack. It's just so intimate and so precise and so emotional at places. I actually have the soundtrack on CD and various other formats, and I listen to it all the time. I really do. So I love this whole movie. I think we've already established that. But if I have to actually pick through it, the one scene in here that I just love, I mean, I think it's probably one of the best scenes in cinema on almost every level, is the scene where Lester Burnham seduces his wife on the sofa after he buys the Pontiac Firebird. And that scene just shows so much range. Again, the music's really good. The acting is really good. And what they're talking about is so central to how we all live our lives and should live our lives. But it's all done with emotion and example and innuendo. And the reason I like this kind of film, and the reason it's so rare, is because one of the key things you find out when you watch a lot of media, which is what I do here, is that you look for in media that thing which you identify with. Like, I'm not the only person that has these thoughts. I'm not the only person who has felt this kind of emotion. I'm not the only person who's had to deal with this kind of frustration. And they're showing it to me. They're showing it, you're not alone. That we all live in this world and we all have to go through this stuff. And that's hard to convey on film unless you're really good at it. Mr. Menendez, the director of this film, and Mr. Newman, the composer of this film, and the actor of this film, they know that. And that's why this is such a good film to watch. I'm actually thinking I should probably watch this film at least once a year, just to remind myself.